That's the point I'm trying to make. And in America, that could considered degrading, or that could considered indecent. And maybe it should be indecent in America. But the bottom line is, if you call yourself an African, I don't want to hear that out of your mouth. That's what I'm trying to say. If you call yourself a black American, okay, fine. Because it's telling you right there that you're not really following the African traditions. I'm talking about black Africans, too. How is it that I see white people in Africa act more African than people, black people in America? But yet black people got the nerve to say they African American. How? I seen white people in Africa who actually do the African dances that we should be doing here in America. But we ain't doing those type of dances. Instead, we trying to go by the European way, the white European way, that is. This is why I don't want to hear about that I'm African shit. I don't want to hear it. Because if you're going to sit back and you're going to tell a group of black people that they are wrong for what they're doing in a music video, when the music video it almost look, it's the same as, look even more, it don't even look that much clad than the video, than what I saw in that picture with the African tribe. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm not saying all African tribes do this. I'm not saying all African tribes dress clad. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it at all. What I'm saying is that there's groups out there who go around naked. You have women around there dancing naked half of the time. No, women cover they behinds, and no one covering they breasts. And it's all, and everybody in America said, "Oh, that's just a tradition." Yeah, and you probably descended from those people. So why is it over there? Why you don't consider that part of you? But you calling yourself African American? Get the fuck out of here! I don't want to hear that shit. Like I said, to me, if you want to call yourself an African, especially if you're black, you better be following some of the African traditions, including this one right here. See, people don't realize about what hip hop did. Yeah, there's a lot of problems in hip hop. I ain't going to first admit. There's a lot of things that need to be changed. There's a lot of people that a lot of things don't need to be done in hip hop. But one thing that hip hop did is that it reversed all that European psychology. It reversed all that. I mean, don't you know that the breakdance itself, it originated out of Africa. Black Africa, that is. Breakdancing started in Africa. It was called something else. Then it became a martial arts type of thing. What it did is that it gave us our own little language, what we call slang, because our ancestors didn't come over here speaking English. It gave us another way of dressing, because all them suits and ties that's made by white Europeans. That's colonial wear. But a lot of people don't see that what hip hop has done to reverse all that European psychology that we are taught that we need to follow to get accepted in America. But you still got some blacks out here who talk about the Africans, but yet they don't even follow none of that crap. They don't follow none of that stuff. They don't follow none of it. They don't follow none of it. They don't eat no type of no. They don't try to learn the culture at all. They don't try to learn they don't try to learn what. And they probably don't try to learn what the tribe they from. But they don't try to learn how to eat like them. They don't try to learn how to dress like them. None of that stuff, man. And that's why I'm like, how can you call yourself? How can you say you African? Just because your ancestors came from there and you ain't following none of the traditions that they had. You're not following none of that stuff. You make it seem like a rap video. You know, if you guys, a bunch of guys who women or look like they clad, you call that as being disrespectful. But what the hell is that over there in Africa? What the hell is that? He got African kings got half naked women who supposed to be virgins dancing for him. These women are topless. What can you tell me if this is a problem what hip-hop does, then that got to be a problem. And don't give me this crap about because it's hot in Africa either. Because let me tell you something. First of all, not all Africa is hot. Because North Africa can get kind of crazy, can get kind of cold. So that's bullshit. Number two, there's plenty of places in America where it gets real hot. Florida is one of them, especially Miami, Texas. And if a woman walk around like that, she can be arrested for decent exposure. So don't give me that crap about because it's hot over there. I don't want to hear that crap. The bottom line is we follow a certain type of rule and regulation in America, and we are taught to follow them rules. And that's not a problem to me. If you want to follow these American rules, fine. But don't sit back and talk about you're an African when you follow in American rules. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. See, the reason why people who are Puerto Rican descent and Dominican descent, even though their kids is really American and not really Dominican or whatever, the reason why they get a pass is because they come over here, they bring their culture over here. They bring the culture over here. That's why they still say I'm Dominican, even though darn well you was born in America. How you Dominican? You were not Dominican. You was American. But the bottom line is that they still eat the foods that Dominicans eat over there, in the Dominican Republic. And even though most of the Dominicans are African descent anyway, of black African descent, still they have their own little culture that they made, and they bring it over here. So their kids eat what they eat, dress, act how they act, and that's why they still call themselves Dominican, even though they know they're really American. But black Americans, we know where our ancestors came from. We even know what part of Africa we came from. West Africa, which wasn't called West Africa, by the way. Before it's a new word that came up. Before that, it was called by the Romans called Negro land, and before that, it was another tribe. It was another kingdom which we should be calling ourselves by that kingdom that it was before the Romans came over there and called it Negro land. I'm talking about West Africa. We should be calling ourselves that, because Africa is a continent, like I said before. And it was different kingdoms and different dynasties on Africa and what we call Africa now. But that's a whole different story. The thing is that we know that our ancestors came from West Africa. We know that what parts of Africa, what country in Africa that's there. We know some of the tribes that's there, like the Bentus. We know a lot of us have descended from them. But yet, the people that are supposed to be pro-African are not even following the tradition they have. That's crazy to me. Me, I could care less because I was born here in America, so to me, I could care less if I don't follow an African tradition or any type of tradition because I was born in America. I call myself a Black American. You know. I just know my African roots. I know those, and that's it. But I'm not trying to go out my way to learn one. You know, even though people might say I should. Fine, I should know. I definitely want to know trying to learn my roots. But as far as culturally, nah, I go by the Black American culture because this is what I was born and raised in. That means collard greens, rice, whatever. You know, even though that's probably considered slavery food, this is what I was born in. I was born in this type of culture. Just like when Jamaicans, even though we know a lot of black people in Jamaica is African descent, they got their own little culture. You know, like curry chicken, all that stuff. I mean, that's their culture. So Black America got their own culture too in America, and that's the culture I go by. So I'm not really trying to go out and trying to learn African culture. You know, I should, but I'm not out there trying to be them, you know, because we got our own Black American culture. But I acknowledge it, though, because that's where my ancestors came from. But there's people out here who actually saying they're Africans because the fact is their ancestors came from Africa, but I'm talking about Black Americans, but ain't trying to learn nothing in the culture. And that's why I'm like, yo, dog, how you call yourself African American? You're not even learning nothing. You're not even trying. You're not trying, dog. You see this? You see what I just named? I just named that right there. But in America, that type of movement, that type of tradition, over here will be considered as degrading to those women. And you yourself, who will be an African American, will also say it's degrading. So you're not an African, because the fact is, if you're looking at it like, well, those women look clad and all that stuff, and this and that, instead of looking at it as this a African tribal tradition, how can you say you're African, man? You're not no damn African, man. You American. Bottom line. Until you go out there and really be an African like you say you are, I'm talking about the people, the Pan-Africans. People always talk on the pro-Africans. Once you go out there and learn something, I'm talking about go by the cultures. I'm not talking about learning about your history. Every black person in America should know about the African history. I'm talking about following the cultures. Until you do that, until you try to learn a language, don't come with this African shit. Don't, because I'm gonna shut you down. I'm like, dog, it takes more to be an African than just being black. And everybody every native in Africa wasn't black. All right? I told you about the Berber peoples. They wasn't black. They became black later on, or they probably was mixed peoples, but they wasn't purely black. Because they was from the north part of Africa, which actually was the original part of Africa. Like I said, West Africa was this new. That's a new name for that part of the continent. So come on, people out of sub-Saharan Africa. I'm talking about black people. If you descended from those type of people, and you talking about you're an African, I want to see you go and learn the culture. Don't sit up here and talk about you some African just because you black like they are. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. I'm sorry. This is why Italians, this is why the Irish, this is why all the Latinos, and even the Black Caribbeans, why they get a pass on when they come over here, and their kids say they get a pass by saying they are by their parents, because they still going by their culture. You'll still see a person who's American born, but mother and father was Jamaican. You'll still see them eating and going by the culture, the Jamaican culture. So that's what I'm saying. If you call yourself an African American, you need to go by an African culture. Other than that, to me, you're just an American who's black. That's it. And the funny thing about it is that we lost our culture and everything. Well, damn. Why no? If everybody knows that, if you know that, and you saying as a Pan-African or an African, people are pro-African, you know this. Why you ain't trying your best to learn it? We thought we lost our culture and everything. Yeah, we did. And you say you're a fucking Pan-African, so therefore go out there and learn it. Don't sit back and talk about you Pan-African and you still eating fried chicken. And I don't want to hear that shit, man. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear fried chicken, collard green, chitlins, all that. Hey, listen, man. I don't want to hear that. That's a black American culture. I want to see you eat fufu and all that. That's what I want to see you eat. When you start learning how to eat that shit, then you can call yourself an African American. Other than that, you're just a damn black American. I don't know what Chris think about this, but that's what I'm trying to say. Because the fact is, it's funny how I can see this picture with this African king from a tribe having women dance around him, half naked, no bras on, and yet the same type of thing that's over here in hip hop is getting shunned because for the same reaction in America, and the women's not even showing no breasts. They're not even showing. They basically just doing a dance and considered provocative. That's all they doing in the videos. And people saying, oh, the rappers are degrading the women. Then what the hell is that over there in Africa? They got fucking virgins fucking half naked. I mean, we call that, oh, that's a tradition. That's an African tradition. Huh? How that's an African tradition, but the shit that black people do over here are considered degraded. How does that make any sense? That's the shit I'm trying to say. That makes no sense. You can't say you're an African until you follow that type of tradition. You can't call yourself an African. If you're sitting there saying that what they doing on TV, if a BET and all stuff is degrading, even though it's basically, we know black people is always known for dancing Always known for dancing. You know that. You know that's one of our code. That's one of our